All right, be a part of the big question this morning. I have with me over the phone line Dr. Abiola Akinode Afolabi, the founder of Ward C. Considering we've seen what has transpired with regards to Professor Richard Yola Kindele, who has been sentenced to prison. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good to have you on Women Radio.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you once again for giving us your time. So, yes, I'm just going to go straight into this. First off, I really want to... There's been this conflicting, will I say years of how many... Well, of the years he's been sentenced to. Some are saying... Reports are giving us 2 years. Some reports are giving us 6 years. So, we want to be sure what exactly the sentence was.
He was actually sentenced to... 6 years in total.
Okay.
But he was convicted for 24 months, which is 2 years imprisonment, for count 1 and count 2. And they are supposed to run concurrently.
Okay.
So for count 3 and 4, he was also committed to 12 months on count 3 and 4.
Okay.
But the judge magnanimously allowed him to run those sentences concurrently. Without an option of fine. So if you put the 6 years, so ordinarily it's supposed to be 2 years on count 1, 2 years on count 2, making 4 years.
True.
Then on count 3, another 1 year, making 5, and on count 4, another 1 year, making 6.
Okay.
So, but the judge agrees that the judge decided that he should run a conviction
concurrently.
So, which then puts it back to 2 years imprisonment.
All right, thank you for clearing that up. Owing to the fact that a lot of people calling don't even know exactly what the sentence was meted out. But thank you for clearing that up as well. Then, regards to justice for Monica, there's been the call that some female students even put themselves in this situation. What do you have to say with regards to this?
Well, what I would say is that the lecturer is in a position of authority, to maintain a duty of care. The students are vulnerable. Oftentimes, what we see is the power over things. The lecturer has the power. The lecturer can actually stop a student. They are expected to, beyond teaching students in school, they are also seen as upholding some form of ethical, behavior. So there's no justification, even where students, are seen to, be harassing a lecturer. The lecturer is expected to be able, to correct or report or, what is, so it's expected, the way the lecturer-student relationship is, the lecturer is on the higher side, and is expected to be able to, resist any attempts by students. So a lecturer cannot justify, its behavior, on the ground that the students led him, to doing what he's doing. So I don't think that's necessary. And you cannot say because of the way a student dresses, that amounts to harassment. The issue of dressing it's at your own discretion. It's a discretionary thing. It's about what you see as normal and what you see as abnormal. Sometimes in this country, we have seen people communing without, wearing the kind of clothes that we wear today, and that was not a justification for people to be raped on the street. So I don't think that there are some of the excuses that people are given to justify sexual harassment is acceptable in any way.
All right. Thank you very much for that as well. But before I finally let you go, some have called out that there should be stiffer penalties with regards to, not just lecturers, teachers in general. That this, yes, he's been a scapegoat. He's the first one who was seen going forward. But do you agree with this report that there should be stiffer penalties with regards to anyone who is molesting any female student or any female in general, especially with gender-based violence that we see being purported daily?
Well, I think that authorities like school and the state, should take more steps in addressing issues of harassment. If you watch recently the Yaba March, it's as a result of people who go to Yaba market. They are being harassed by people who are selling, with units. So there's a lot of harassment going on in the country. At in workplaces, in school, on the streets where people even walk to go and buy, different things like the situation in Yaba. And we have also had that kind of march in other parts of the country, I think in Akure some years back. But on the school issue, one of the things that that I think is important is that university authorities or the National University Commission, must put in place sexual harassment policy. In a place like Obafemi Awolowo University, where this Monica's case occurred, they have an existing sexual harassment prevention policy. But unfortunately, the policy at that point in time was not effective. So for those schools where they have it, they should take steps to activate the sexual harassment policy. Because, sexual harassment does not just happen. And it does also not just disappear. These steps are not taken, to address it. So it's a problem that must be addressed. And one of the things we need to do is to prevent it from occurring. And the best way to prevent it from occurring is if we have a mechanism where people can easily report. You can report to your lecturer. It can be done in a secret way. You submit something in the complaint box, and the school, in that confidentiality, follow up the case, to find out what happened, in that case. If our schools, if they are not ready, to do that, we would have as many Monica Osage as possible. And that's why I think that this judgment is important.
Okay.
It comes as a deterrent, then it sends a signal, all around to say that no more. Just like they are saying across the world.
Hear me too. #HearMeToo. So, okay, I said it was going to be a quick one, but I just want to ask, what would you say to students who have been molested, who have been afraid to come out because they will be victimized by their lecturers? What will be your words to them with regards to this victory we've seen now for Monica, who has she's gotten victory more or less.
Yes, that's victory. Yeah, for me, I would encourage them to speak out. There's always somewhere in the saying that there is always someone in the school environment that you can speak to. It could be the dean of student affairs. It could be one of your lecturers. So what we should do, especially in situations where we seem not to have strong mechanisms, because this is happening in the school environment. And in a way, there's a conspiracy around it, because most of the lecturers are involved. So there's a conspiracy around it. So it becomes very difficult because it's more or less like there's an agreement by the lecturers involved to cover themselves. And that's why you see there's an esprit de corps around this, So that's where you see that in the situation of Akindele, it was difficult for university lecturers to come out clearly to condemn, the matter. So it's a big issue, and it's a big issue which we need to deal with in our university system. There's no esprit de corps for sexual harassment. It is not something that it should be acceptable by any standard. So students should find someone in the midst of all this. There is always a particular lecturer that you can confide in, and they should look for those lecturers. They are always there. They are always there. In Monica's case, she actually went to speak to to her supervisor that she saw as somebody that should be able, to listen to her. And the supervisor did not do what she was also even asking her more ridiculous things, asking her to just shut your mouth and do it and move away with it. And those are some of the facts behind the behind the case. But she went forward to speak with another lecturer in that same university who collected a
statement,
assessment, and agreed to take steps to do something. What he didn't do was to do that as quickly as possible before the case, broke out. So my point is that there's always somebody. So they should speak out. They should derive strength from Monica Osage's victory. And use that to let us to come together to ensure that we collectively send out sexual harassment from our university.
All right. Thank you so much. It was good having you on Women Radio, and I trust you have yourself a pleasant day ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, that was Dr. Abiola Akinode Afolabi, founder of Ward C, and we've been talking about justice for Monica Osage.
WFM 91.7.